am back with another video using the We Are Memories CINCH machine, and in a couple of my previous videos I did an unboxing of the machine so we could look at what comes in your box and what to expect when you unbox it. And then I also introduced the metric cutting guides. I am quite partial to A5 size notebooks. I think it's a perfect size notebook, and I had to adapt the guides for the cinch in order to make it easier to cut. So these will be listed down in the description if you're looking for them. I have the A4 landscape and portrait, the A5 landscape and portrait, which I'm going to be using this portrait one today, and also the A6, both landscape and portrait. So I already have my notebook, my front and back piece. I still need to take the masking off, but other than that, they're cut and they're ready. And the link for the files for this that correspond with the guides that I'm using, that will also be down in the description if that's something you're looking for. And then of course I have my A5 papers already cut, and they just need to be punched, and then everything needs to be put together. I'm gonna start with my A5 portrait guide, and let's get that on my machine. Then I'm gonna start punching my paper. So I have everything set up. I need to push this, make sure this is all the way in. Okay, so I have my guide on. I have my papers that I'm ready to start. When I do this, I always pull out peg number 1. Otherwise, I'm gonna end up cutting off of my paper. And I'm gonna line it up and press my holes. So I like to do the first section first. If I have several papers, I find it's easier to do all of my papers with my ruler pushed all the way to the end before I start adjusting things. And we're gonna fast forward through this, and I will be back when I'm done getting all of these papers. So now I have all of my paper punched, and I have the backing taken off of my acrylic pieces, and I just happens to be that this is matte on one side and glossy on the other. So make sure that I am using the same side for this. And so then let's just get this together and see where we are as far as size goes. I will link this little guide that I have down in the description. I found it on Etsy, and it seems to work really well. And I use this to figure out about what size binding I need. And this one is right at the 5/8, so it looks like it's gonna be a pretty good fit. And I do have 5/8 binders. I do have 5/8 wires, so this is what I'm going to use. I've already determined I'm using the 5/8 ring, so let's go ahead and just get that laid in place. And then when I do this, I need to start with my paper. So the paper goes first. So I'm gonna load up my rings with my paper. Now it's time for my covers. So the first thing I want to do is put my front cover on. And then the next thing I want to do is put my back cover, but I want to do similar to whenever I'm sewing. I want to make sure that right sides are together. So since this has a matte and a glossy side, I make sure that the glossy sides are face down. My notebook is all loaded, so it is time to take this off. And now to get our binding closed. So the first thing I need to do is dial this down because I'm at a 1 inch and I need to be down around 5/8. So all you do is push this little knob and turn. And I am right at 5/8 now. And then make sure and release your handle. Now I like to use this little tool, this little binding tool that I've made so that it attaches to the back of my machine, and it will hold all the way out the entire length, although I will end up cutting most of that. It will kind of brace everything and then make sure it is where it needs to be because I don't want it to twist. I like using this little guide because it kind of keeps the things from moving around, and I like to just kind of hold it in place. And let's move down and get the rest of it. Again, we'll just line everything up. And then I'll check and see if it's closed enough. If it isn't closed enough, then I will turn it, dial it down maybe just a tad and give it another little squeeze. Okay, I am pretty good. That is not going to come out of there. And here is the finished A5 notebook, printed, bound, everything using the cinch guides in the A5 portrait for the cinch machine, as well as the SVG laser cutouts for the front and the back covers. So it's a pretty simple project. It doesn't take very long, and personally, I love the A5 notebooks. I think it's just the perfect size for small notebooks. So this was how I managed to get the metric to work on my cinch.